What would you do if one day you couldn't care for yourself? Would a nursing home be your only option? Aging is inevitable. But how we approach it doesn't have to follow a single path. While many see nursing homes as the default choice when independence starts to fade, there are countless other possibilities to explore. In this video, we'll share 6 inspiring stories of older individuals who chose to live life on their own terms, proving that with creativity and support, you can maintain independence, purpose, and joy at any age. Let's dive into these life-changing lessons. At 85 years old, Mr. William stands as a testament to the power of determination and independence. A lifelong early riser, William begins each day with a brisk morning walk, greeting familiar faces in his neighborhood before tending to his cherished garden. He then enjoys a peaceful afternoon with a good book and a warm cup of coffee at the local cafe. However, as time passed, his health began to decline, and his family grew concerned. They suggested he move to a nursing home, where he could have access to round-the-clock care. But Mr. William wasn't ready to give up the life he had built. He cherished his morning walks, the comfort of his home, and the community he had grown to love. Moving to a nursing home felt like surrendering the very essence of his identity. Instead of resigning to this path, Mr. William chose a different approach. He acknowledged his limitations but focused on finding solutions that allowed him to maintain his independence. With occasional visits from a home care worker and regular check-ins from family, he crafted a support system tailored to his needs. Mr. Williams' story is a powerful reminder that aging doesn't mean forfeiting autonomy. Independence, even with a little extra help, can be preserved with creativity and determination. His daily routine not only keeps him physically active but also reinforces his sense of purpose and connection to his surroundings. This tale teaches us that independence doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing concept. With a balance of personal effort and external support, it's possible to continue living life on your own terms, even in the face of aging's challenges. Mr. Williams' resilience is an inspiring example for anyone navigating similar decisions, proving that independence is within reach if you're willing to adapt and stay true to your values. At 72 years old, Mrs. Evelyn is living proof that bold decisions can lead to a more vibrant and fulfilling life in retirement. As a retired teacher who had spent decades shaping young minds, she faced a crossroads when it came time to decide her future. While many of her peers opted for the comfort and predictability of nursing homes, Mrs. Evelyn took a leap of faith. She moved to a small, vibrant retirement community that promised more than just a place to live, it offered a chance to thrive. Her family was skeptical at first, worried she was leaving behind the familiar comforts of her old neighborhood. But Mrs. Evelyn was determined to embrace a new chapter in her life. Within months, her decision proved to be transformative. She found herself surrounded by like-minded individuals who shared her interests and zest for life. This new environment ignited a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. One of her greatest joys came from teaching knitting classes to fellow residents, a skill she had always loved but never had the time to share while working full-time. The joy and camaraderie of these classes not only brought her happiness but also fostered meaningful connections within her community. Mrs. Evelyn wasn't just surviving, she was thriving, rediscovering passions and building new relationships. Her story underscores an essential lesson: finding the right community can bring energy, purpose, and joy into your later years. Aging doesn't have to mean retreating or isolating yourself. Instead, it can be an opportunity to grow, connect, and contribute. Mrs. Evelyn's bold move demonstrates that it's never too late to seek out a place where you feel valued and inspired. By stepping out of her comfort zone, Mrs. Evelyn transformed her retirement into the most enriching chapter of her life, proving that the best years can truly lie ahead. At 92 years old, Mr. Robert refuses to let age dictate the boundaries of his life. While many his age might choose to settle into a quiet routine at home, he took a radically different approach, embracing a life of adventure. After years of dreaming about seeing the world, he decided it was time to turn those dreams into reality. With his daughter as his travel companion, Mr. Robert set off to explore the globe, proving that it's never too late for new experiences. Their adventures were anything but conventional. Rather than opting for luxury cruises or guided tours, Mr. Robert chose to immerse himself in local cultures, staying in quaint apartments and small hotels. Together, they wandered the romantic streets of Paris, hiked the rolling hills of the Italian countryside, and marveled at the ancient ruins of Greece. For Mr. Robert, these journeys weren't just about ticking off bucket list destinations. They were about embracing the richness of life and connecting with the world in an authentic, meaningful way. What makes his story even more remarkable is his approach to travel. He tackled each new destination with curiosity and enthusiasm, proving that the joy of exploration doesn't diminish with age. Whether trying local cuisines, chatting with strangers, or navigating cobblestone streets, Mr. Robert fully immersed himself in every moment. His story teaches a profound lesson: age is just a number. Life doesn't have to slow down as you grow older. In fact, the later years can offer more freedom and flexibility to pursue passions and adventures you may have once put on hold. Mr. Robert's resilience and zest for life remind us that it's never too late to challenge ourselves, create lasting memories, and see the world through fresh eyes. At 92, he's living proof that adventure knows no age limits. At 80 years old, Mrs. Margaret has redefined what it means to age with independence and innovation. While many might view technological advancements as daunting, she embraced them as tools to enhance her life and maintain control over her daily routines. When her health began to decline and her ability to fully care for herself became a challenge, Mrs. Margaret knew one thing: she wasn't ready to move into a nursing home. Instead, she chose to adapt and stay in the home she loved by harnessing the power of technology. With a little guidance from her tech-savvy grandchildren, Mrs. Margaret learned to use smartphones, tablets, and even smart home devices. She set up voice-controlled systems to adjust lights, lock doors, and regulate the thermostat, making her home more manageable and secure. Communication became easier than ever. With just a few taps, she could contact family members, schedule doctor's appointments, or ask for assistance when needed. Video calls became a regular part of her life, allowing her to watch her great-grandchildren grow up virtually and even join in on family game nights from the comfort of her living room. What sets Mrs. Margaret apart is her willingness to embrace change and learn new skills. Her proactive approach didn't just improve her independence, it strengthened her connections with loved ones and allowed her to continue living on her own terms. Her story is a powerful reminder that technology, often seen as intimidating for older generations, can be an empowering tool. Mrs. Margaret's journey proves that age doesn't have to limit one's ability to adapt and thrive. By embracing technology, she not only enhanced her quality of life but also showed others that independence and connection are achievable at any age. Her innovative spirit is a testament to the possibilities that come with an open mind and a willingness to learn. At 79 years old, Mr. Samuel's garden is more than just a collection of plants, it's a living testament to his passion and resilience. For decades, he cultivated an expansive space filled with vibrant flowers, lush vegetables, and towering trees. It was his pride and joy. A sanctuary where he could escape and connect with nature. But as the years passed, the physical demands of maintaining such a large garden began to take a toll on his body. His family, concerned about his declining health, gently suggested it might be time to let go of his beloved hobby. But Mr. Samuel wasn't ready to give up. Instead, he chose to adapt. He downsized his sprawling garden into a smaller, more manageable space, carefully selecting plants that required less maintenance but still brought him joy. The result was a beautiful, simplified garden that continued to thrive under his care. While it wasn't as grand as the one he had in his younger years, it was a reflection of his ability to embrace change while holding on to the things that mattered most to him. This transformation not only allowed Mr. Samuel to continue gardening but also gave him a renewed sense of purpose. Each morning, he would tend to his plants with the same love and attention as before, finding peace in the simplicity of his new setup. His family was amazed by how much he thrived in this reimagined space. And his story became a source of inspiration for those around him. Mr. Samuel's journey is a reminder that aging doesn't mean giving up on the things you love. It's about finding new ways to enjoy your passions and adapt to life's changing circumstances. Sometimes, less truly is more. And simplicity can be just as fulfilling. Through his small garden, Mr. Samuel continues to grow, proving that life's joys can flourish at any age. At 84 years old, Mrs. Dorothy has shown that home is more than just a place, it's a sanctuary of memories, comfort, and belonging. For over 50 years, she has lived in the same house, raising her children, hosting family gatherings, and building a lifetime of cherished moments. When her health began to decline, her children suggested she consider moving to a nursing home for more support and care. But for Mrs. Dorothy, leaving the home she had filled with love and memories wasn't an option. Instead, she found a way to stay where her heart truly belonged. Determined to maintain her independence while acknowledging her limitations, Mrs. Dorothy worked with her family to create a supportive system that allowed her to remain in her beloved home. Her daughter visited weekly to help with chores, and her grandchildren stopped by after school to check in and spend time with her. Simple adjustments, such as hiring occasional help for heavy lifting or installing safety features around the house, ensured that she could live comfortably and securely. For Mrs. Dorothy, staying in her home meant more than convenience, it was about preserving her sense of identity and the legacy of her family. The walls of her home, adorned with photographs and mementos, told the story of her life and offered a deep sense of continuity that no nursing home could replicate. Surrounded by familiar sights and sounds, she felt at peace, connected to the life she had built over decades. Her story is a beautiful reminder that aging doesn't always mean starting over in a new place. Sometimes, the best choice is to remain in the space where your life's chapters unfolded, supported by loved ones and small adaptations. Mrs. Dorothy's determination to stay in her home highlights the importance of preserving the connections and memories that make life meaningful, proving that home truly is where the heart is. As we've seen through the remarkable stories of Mr. William, Mrs. Evelyn, Mr. Robert, Mrs. Margaret, Mr. Samuel, and Mrs. Dorothy, aging doesn't have to mean giving up independence, passions, or the joy of living life on your own terms. Each of these individuals found creative, empowering ways to navigate the challenges of getting older, proving that the later years can be a time of growth, connection, and fulfillment. Mr. William showed us the importance of maintaining independence, even with a little help from loved ones. Mrs. Evelyn demonstrated how finding the right community can reignite purpose and joy. Mr. Roberts' adventurous spirit shattered the stereotype that age limits exploration and excitement. Mrs. Margaret reminded us that embracing technology can open doors to greater autonomy and connection. Mr. Samuel's ability to adapt his passions proved that fulfillment doesn't depend on scale but on meaningful engagement. Finally, Mrs. Dorothy taught us the value of preserving the comfort and memories of home, surrounded by love and support. These stories highlight a powerful truth: aging is not about surrendering to limitations but about embracing opportunities to adapt, thrive, and find new ways to live a meaningful life. Whether through creativity, resilience, or the support of others, the possibilities for joy and fulfillment are endless. Let these stories inspire you to think differently about aging. Whether you're approaching this stage of life yourself or supporting someone who is, remember that the key to a happy and vibrant life lies in choices that honor individuality, passions, and values. Aging is not the end of the journey, it's simply the beginning of a new chapter, rich with potential. So embrace the possibilities, and let the years ahead be a celebration of all the ways life can still surprise and delight you.